Hey people, I'm just looking at the NVIDIA stock today. It took a plunge, like almost 18% down when I saw it. And it's the worst in the last 2 years. And kind of seeing this AI market crash kind of suggests something is happening. So I wanted to share some point of view, talk about the financial markets and the DeepSeek effect. I want to talk to you guys about uh, why NVIDIA and broader AI market took a hit today, largely due to the rising influence of DeepSeek. We'll look at what happened, why DeepSeek is shaking things up, and how their technology compares to ChatGPT, and whether NVIDIA is a buying opportunity or not. I'm not an analyst. I don't give stock advice. I'm a techie, and I just was observing, and so this is just a personal opinion. No advice given as far as stocks go, but you know, so the stock plummeted around 18%. It dragged down the entire AI market. And this came after DeepSeek, a small, highly innovative company in China, announced a breakthrough in AI model training efficiency and reduced operational costs for a fraction of the costs that OpenAI slash ChatGPT has been spending. So I was going through the news, and analysts and investors are reacting to the DeepSeek's disruptive model, which undercuts GPU driven AI infrastructure in a huge way. So now, who's DeepSeek and why are they disruptive? This is a rising competitor for ChatGPT in the AI space, and they're focused on cost efficient, lightweight AI model creation. If you recall, there was basically uh, limitations for China to buy the buy the NVIDIA chipset last year. And with the current administration, that limitation was taken away with an executive order. So the companies in China basically went to innovate and said, what can we do? So now ChatGPT, while it relies on expensive NVIDIA GPUs, DeepSeek used a custom AI accelerator, which is hardware designed in-house for narrow AI tasks, cutting costs. And they also pruned the neural networks and quantizations to reduce the computational complexity, which helps them achieve similar output with far fewer resources. They also are using a federated learning approach, leveraging edge computing for distributed model training and minimizing reliance on the uh, hardware. It's kind of like virtualization, if you will, right? So, like virtualization was with cloud computing. So, but that inflection point came really quick, um, pretty much like within a year of ChatGPT being released. So here's a little technical comparison between ChatGPT and DeepSeek. So model training, it's pruned and quantized models, but ChatGPT has full-scale transformer models. Hardware dependency is on custom AI accelerators and edge computing, whereas ChatGPT is using NVIDIA GPUs and high-power data centers. Their cost efficiency is about 40 to 70% lower, whereas ChatGPT has heavy reliance on premium GPUs. Is there a difference in quality? I mean, we don't know, right? This app was just released a little bit, but it's pretty popular because everybody's kind of flooding. And ChatGPT was actually a couple of days back was down for a couple of hours on the 25th morning when I was trying to use it. The inference speed is optimized for real-time tasks, but with ChatGPT, it requires significant computational overhead. And it's also possible that inference might be real-time in case of DeepSeek versus ChatGPT. The scalability, look at this, right? DeepSeek is decentralized edge deployments. whereas ChatGPT is kind of like the Stone Age mainframes. It's all centralized cloud infrastructure. So what does all this technical mumbo jumbo means? Like why it matters? I think a lot of my friends called me today and they're like pretty stressed about the NVIDIA stock dropping. But this changes, DeepSeek's approach dramatically changes how training and inference costs are looked at. And it has got attention of Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, uh, and many other companies, right? Everyone is observing and they're like, wow, if the cost is reduced, we need to pay attention to that. So does this pose a challenge for NVIDIA's dominance in the AI hardware market? I don't know. Because, when you can do more for less, then you do more, right? So, but that's my opinion, right? So now the reason NVIDIA stock dropped is because investors are fearing the AI market. So it was just a reaction, market saturation concern. Because cost efficiency pivot point is now reduced. It's more on the lesser side. I mean, you can bypass NVIDIA's expensive GPU solutions. There's reduced hardware demand, especially if the use cases are not there. And there's also valuation anxiety with NVIDIA. It lost about $600 billion in one day. Largest drop since, from the last 24 months, maybe even more. So obviously with the valuation comes high expectations. NVIDIA was trading at like 3.6 trillion valuation with annual revenues of around 180 billion, while Microsoft is in similar situation with double the revenue. So when you are at 20x trading price, something ought to give. So now, should you buy NVIDIA stock? Now, I'm of the opinion that you should let the stock fall and you observe the tech trends. But NVIDIA is the golden standard for all AI workloads and gaming. They also are not only in GPUs, but they're also have many other lines of businesses, right? So like this week they were going to release their graphic design card. So people are lining up for that, like people line up at, some concert or buying the first iPhone. And innovation pipeline, as you know, is heavy. So the next gen CPUs and AI focused software like CUDA is creating a lot of anxiety, a lot of excitement in the industry. So now there are competitive threats also because Amazon, Tesla, they're all starting to build their own chipset. So around that competition from hardware, but I don't think that's that big a deal considering NVIDIA is the gold standard. The valuation risk, you got to kind of watch out for that also. So I wouldn't go out and just spend too much, but when you invest, try and invest with care. So Zynox recommendation, our short-term outlook, we feel that there's going to be a lot of volatility as DeepSeek expands and as the market begins to absorb. Some people are saying, is the operational cost really low? I mean, let's think about it, right? It has to be seen. Now, the fact that their product is open source, a lot of companies can try it even within US. So, and it's kind of a quasi different response because they were like, well, China companies could not purchase the NVIDIA chipset, so they innovated. And they took a cost efficiency, they have cost efficiency innovation as a function of the challenge that they were tackling with by not having the chipset. If that was not there, this probably would not have happened. But I think this also makes the world a better place in the sense that if the models can be trained, inference engines is the next element that's going to get stronger. So maybe having more compute is not a bad idea because more use cases can be supported. So NVIDIA, at least in my portfolio, is going to be diversified a little bit. It is a strong player, and we'll see how the earnings this week respond to this news, especially with Microsoft announcing the earnings and Tesla and some other companies. The analysts are going to ask the question that, hey guys, you heard about how DeepSeek is optimizing the operational costs and what the impact is on your expenditure, especially like with Stargate, a $500 billion investment, right? How is that impacted? How does that change the AI landscape? And based on how the news rolls out, I think it will have a significant impact on the stock price of the Magnificent Seven, not to mention other chip companies like Broadcom, Marvell, NVIDIA, and so on. So if you are holding on, hold it longer with mindfulness to long-term innovation pipeline from NVIDIA. If you are a buyer, wait for price correction so you get a better risk-reward ratio and only buy what you can afford. Don't overbuy. And also look at the broader AI market. There are, diversify. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. So there are companies out there that are doing AI software. There's efficient model training, things like that. So you can definitely think about this. So, but you can make money as the stocks goes up or goes down, and those things you can look up on how to do in, there are a lot of people out on YouTube explaining that. So DeepSeek's rise shows how innovation can disrupt even the biggest players. And as AI evolves, it's clear that cost efficiency and specialization will become important instead of the raw power of the chipset. So do you think NVIDIA can adapt to this challenge, or is DeepSeek just the start of a broader disruption in the AI market? Please share your thoughts in the comments in the video. And thank you for joining.